Continuing to trickle in. There's the recording. Thank you.
Oh,
Just
sorry.
want to welcome everyone and say good afternoon. Welcome to our first Strategies for Student Success webinar with Complete College America. And we're thrilled to kick off this series with an important conversation on integrating career readiness into the student experience. So it's my absolute pleasure to introduce our speaker, Dr. Lakeisha Mathews, who serves as the director of the Career and Internship Center at the University of Baltimore. Dr. Mathews is a leader in career development dedicated to bridging the gap between curricular and co-curricular experiences, all to enhance student success. And in today's session, she'll share strategies for embedding career readiness into academic advising, classroom experiences, and student support models. And we'll also explore how collaboration between advisors and career services, intentional career decision-making, and intrusive career advising can boost retention and improve student outcomes. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Lakeisha Mathews.
Thank you so much, Mr. O'Brien. Thank you to everyone for joining us today for this session. I want to also thank Complete College America as well. I've been partnering with them for, I don't know, about 5 or so years now, and had the opportunity to speak to many of their partners. And I am excited today to talk to you all about my favorite topic, which is everything career development, and how we can really weave career development into the student success stories on our campuses. So we're going to get started. I have, just so you know, I have been in career services since around 2006. I've worked in 3 different career centers, including one at the University of Maryland Global Campus, which serves over 90,000 students globally, including virtually. And then at Loyola University, Maryland, a private institution here in the state of Maryland, where I live at. And then my current institution, which is serving adult learners, so very unique population. I've worked with just about every major there is, and I'm super proud of the work we've done here at the University of Baltimore. In addition to that, I am the past president of the National Career Development Association, and I had the wonderful pleasure of visiting career centers across the globe, in countries like Taiwan, Italy, Canada, as well as Egypt. So I am excited to sort of bring all my learnings and my global travels around career development to you all today. So let me share my screen. And let me swap. I have 3 screens up here. Okay, there we are. All right, so let's get going. Please do feel free to make comments in the chat. We don't have a lot of time today because we do want to save some time for questions. So I will be moving along in the slides, but please do take notes. I will send the slides out to your team, to Jen, after this is over so that you can take them. And the main thing that I would like for you to consider today is really looking and grabbing ideas that will work for you and the cultures on your campus and the students that you serve. All right. So I've already told you about me, but if you are looking for some resources on career services, I want to mention the NCDA monographs. That's the yellow and the blue books, Designing and Implementing Career Interventions and Career Coaching Fundamentals. I wrote the intro to each of those resources, and they're great resources that you can purchase. They're very affordable on the NCDA website. So just wanted to mention those. All right, so first of all, I want to paint the picture of who I serve, because who I serve and the students I serve is really the reason that I have been able to tap into innovative strategies to support student success. So first and foremost, my institution is an urban institution. We are in the heart of Baltimore. Our president is actually a former mayor of Baltimore City. He was mayor when I was a little girl growing up in Baltimore, President Schmoke. We are a commuter school with non-traditional students. Between our 4 colleges, including our law school, we sit at around 4,000. When I arrived here, we're at about 6,000. So we've had some retention struggles over the last few years. We do have undergrad, grad, and doctoral programs, and we are considered an anchor institution for Baltimore City, which, being in the Career Center, is really a special, something unique about our institution because our recruitment and employer relations is very robust because of our positioning within the city of Baltimore. Our office is a part of what we call the Student Success and Support Services Division. So we do not have a typical student affairs division anymore here. We have student success, what we call ourselves Quad S for the 4S's. And my supervisor, the vice president of Quad S, also sits as the lead person and the steward of our advising model. She is not the person that supervises our academic advisors, but she is over the advising model and retention at our university as well. So wanted to give those insights. So what are we going to be talking about and learning today? Well, hold on, because we're talking about quite a few things. Understanding what it means to even integrate career development into academic preparation. We are going to identify methods for using technology. I can't say enough about using technology to scale career services and make initiatives sustainable. No one wants to participate in initiatives that are not sustainable. To create a success team for students. We're going to explain the benefits of having a campus-wide definition of career development, recognize options for integrating career development into the classroom, and explore ways artificial intelligence can be used to scale career development. I am going to share a mix of what we've done here at the University of Baltimore, as well as some best practices and things I've seen in the industry. So let's jump right in. If there are four sort of sections to today's topic, it is first, the importance of defining career. Second, how we integrate career into the academic experience, or what I call the curriculum integration model. What it means to have a student success team. And I was so happy to see your leader open up, Mr. O'Brien, talking about student success. And number four, AI, artificial intelligence. So let's go with recommendation number one, defining career readiness. The starting point for this topic you all have asked me to talk about today of career and academics really starts with what do we mean by career? So I have learned in going around to different campuses, my work with CCA, going around the world and talking about career, depending on who you talk to on the campus, someone in the career center, a dean, your president, an academic advisor or faculty member, sometimes people mean very different things when you use the word career. Things like, are we talking about readiness? Are we talking about guidance? Are we talking about job placement? Are we talking about employability skill building or technical skills that you gain in the classroom? The first thing we must start with when we want to further integrate career into the academic experience is what do we mean by that? Okay. I want to give an example from my institution. What really drew me to the University of Baltimore is our mission right here, that we offer career-focused education for aspiring and current professionals, providing the region with highly educated leaders. Our vision to be the premier regional university for career advancement. So as you can see, when they hired me 11 years ago, believe it or not, I'm about to hit 12 years here, to rebuild their career center, I was like, oh my goodness, this is the perfect place for me, this vision, this mission. And when I got here, I realized I was on a great campus where our faculty and our administrators definitely value the work that's done in student success and in career services. But what I also realized is that when we talk about career focus and when we talk about career advancement, depending on who I'm talking to on campus, it means different things. For instance, if you're talking to my current provost, he's probably talking about the technical skills students get in the curricular experience that allowed them to obtain a job. When he says career focused or career advancement, he is not talking about the co-curricular services that are offered by my office. Now, if you talk to some of my deans, they're talking about both. They're talking about the curricular and the co-curricular. If you ask students, they probably think you're going to find them a job. So I say that to say that you must start by defining a campus shared discussion, definition of what we mean by career and academics. Because if your academic professionals on campus are have a different vision of what that means than your co-curricular and your support services folks, there's always going to be a conflict there. But if we have a shared definition, then we all are talking the same and we can all move in the same direction. In addition to that, a great organization, the Career Leadership Collective, came out with an article last year, I believe it was, and they called it the 4 foundations of the new model of career services, which is the career ecosystem, moving out of a one center model into this ecosystem. And they said that the 4 foundations of the ecosystem are the promise you have for every student versus regarding job attainment, career learning outcomes that are shared by the campus, embedded milestones, and empowered community. So I really want to hone in on the career learning outcomes to have an ecosystem of career and academics merged together. You have to have shared definition and learning outcomes. And in the article, Potney 2024, he says an institution and its academic unit should craft a set of college-wide, context-specific career learning outcomes that define holistic career development and readiness. One of the most powerful things you can do on your campus to move forward an integrated career academic initiative is to make sure that your faculty and your student support offices are talking about career and defining it the same way, and then have agreed upon outcomes. Faculty already have outcomes for their program level and course level, right? If you've ever gone through accreditation like I've had to, you probably also have unit level outcomes, and maybe your student support offices also have student learning outcomes. We do here at the University of Baltimore. Merge those together. There's a great opportunity there. That way, when we come together to push initiatives out, we don't have to spend time building collaboration. We're already on the same page. So I have a question. You can put this into the chat for me. Does your campus, in fact, have a shared definition of career development? Yes or no? Let's see what folks are saying. Go ahead and just put yes or no in the chat for me. Okay, I see some no's. Not known that I'm not aware of. Not sure, not sure. Okay, so mostly no's, not sure's. We got a not yet, meaning soon to come. I say it, okay, it's shifting. Okay, awesome. Awesome. So here's a good place to start for a campus of getting everyone that needs to be in the room and thinking about what is our definition of this so that we can then move forward the initiatives. Okay. So that was recommendation number 1. And I like to share sort of our shared model here at the University of Baltimore. So we do believe in the developmental process of career learning. So we had a group of campus stakeholders come together about probably 13 or 14 years ago, and we ended up with what we see here is the University of Baltimore's career cycle. It is our methodology for how students progress through the co-curricular experience of career readiness versus just the academic experience of completing my credit hours. Our hope is that our students are starting at this phase called Discover Your Direction and working to explore the world of work, communicating their brand, and creating their opportunities as they're going through their class experience. Now, we have students here who start as freshmen. We also are a heavy transfer institution, and we have graduate students. We have taken this model and broken it up into action plans for all of those students. So a 2-year plan, a 4-year plan, depending on where they are. We also went with a circular model to show that our students are adults and they can jump in here at any place. We recognize that some of our students are already working. We recognize that some are working but making career changes. This is probably iteration 3.0 of our career cycle. And we also now have 2 additional ones. We have a graduate student career cycle to sort of acknowledge the fact that graduate students may be at a different level in their career. It speaks more to things like career advancement and leadership. And then we also are a campus that has a second chance program. We do go into the Jessup Correctional Facility. We have about 60 students there, and we have a career cycle for them because their career needs and path is obviously very different as they are released and they come to finish up their degree on campus once they are finished serving their time. So this is adopted fully by our office. It's also shared by our division. And then it has our academic advisors have been trained in this as well. It gives us a central language to talk about career development campus-wide with our students. And when we can, we go to faculty training opportunities with our Center for Teaching and Learning to share this with faculty. All right, so number 1 was shared definition. You have to have a shared definition, shared speak, shared language for career development. Recommendation number 2 is curriculum integration. This is probably my favorite recommendation. It has been the best strategy for my campus, but you have to decide if it works for your campus. So one of my main messages when I talk particularly to executives who want to help with student employment or internships or career development is to remind us all that career centers equal opt-in support for students. Academic classes are built-in support. What do I mean by that? Career centers are optional for students to engage in most of the time. Now, you do have some career centers that do teach, are responsible for 4 credit classes like an internship or maybe a civics class sometimes. You do have some career centers who have a career development class as well, and the staff do get to teach that. But that model is not widely used everywhere. And what we forget about sometimes is no matter how much we invest in our career centers, and you should, I'm a big proponent that they should be resourced well with staff and resources. However, we still mainly rely on these centers to market heavily to students, do a ton of outreach to get students to come. And who normally comes? The overachievers, like you think about it like the bell curve. Your overachievers probably don't even need us sometimes, but they come. And then those who are in crises because they're referred by other supports around campus, but that murky middle for those who like data, we don't know if we don't know why they don't come. We don't know if they know about us. Some will hear us and see us at orientation and other places and spaces on campus, and it never clicks that I can go there, right? But the classroom is there. They have to go to class to complete their degree. So on our campus, we really realize that the magic is in integrating into the classroom because our students are working adults, many are working parents, and many are working full time. Their time and capacity to engage in things outside of the classroom is very, very, very small. In addition to that, the research shows that the main influences on students' career decision making actually is their family and their social circle, followed by faculty, followed by work experiences. It hurts me to my heart that career advisors, professionals, counselors, coaches are not on here, but this is research based. It really does show the power of the social circle and peer learning with students and their career decision making, and then the power of faculty with career decision making. And if you think about your own life and your own experiences, you probably can think about a teacher you had that probably discouraged you from a particular subject and one that really inspired you in a particular subject. Many people have conversations with faculty that open them up to a career that they've never thought about before. So why not maximize on this and partner with faculty and better equip them to have what I like to call career conversations or to actually integrate career development into the curriculum. So there are 4 models of how to embed career development into the curriculum. I'll explain them each briefly. The first is mapping to what I call GE or general education. And this is what I call the curriculum integration model. So I was very fortunate to get a partner. I say we were Batman and Robin about 8 years ago here on our campus, Dr. Fiona Glee, who's no longer with us. She's now a dean at Montgomery Community College in Montgomery County, Maryland. And when she and I were talking about career development in our career cycle, she said to me one day, she said, Lakeisha, this career cycle is exactly the same map as our general education curriculum. And I was like, what? Because I'm a career services professional. I don't deal with GE. And she says, pull it up and pull up the career cycle. And we sat there and we were like, oh my goodness. The career readiness is already built into the general education curriculum. We're just not talking about it in the same ways. So she made a pathway for me to go to the GE committee. I can go and access that committee when I need to. Very frightening committee. Faculty committees can be very scary if you've never been to a faculty committee like general education. But this is the committee that not only oversees the GE curriculum, but they approve any new courses that will be offered to students for as a general education credit. If you don't know much about it, I'm sure you could probably Google GE on your campus and learn all about whoever oversees general education. So we literally looked at the career cycle and we looked at the general education and we mapped the career cycle to that and made a plan of how we can integrate career development into the classroom. I'll show you in a slide or two what we came up with. The second is project-based. Project-based means maybe there are some employers or faculty on your campus that have really great semester-long or longer projects that students can engage in that not only help them learn more about their curriculum, but really do help them gain career readiness, employability skills at the same time. Now, we've done this on our campus, but we don't have a project-based model. We actually had a year where the General Services Administration in Maryland, an agency in our state, who was the agency of innovation, meaning when other state agencies have projects that they need to accomplish and they can't accomplish them in-house, they go to the General Services Agency. This agency had a backup of projects. They came to one of our career fairs and we started talking, and I said, why don't we do this? Why don't we put you in a room with faculty who are interested in the projects that you have and see if there's a way they can integrate them into their curriculum. We were successful. We had about 25 faculty who came to a meeting, and the agency was able to work with several faculty on some projects that they had that students were able to gain experience, career experience, and technical experience, but at the same time help the state with some initiatives that they have. So that's project-based. Then there's, of course, the experiential learning model, where we say we want our students to be career ready, and we believe that that is through them gaining work experience. There are co-op models of this, or it can simply be what I'm seeing a lot of is every academic program requiring some sort of experiential learning. One of our colleges, the Colleges of Public Affairs right now, has a few majors that require internships, but they're actually in the next few years moving to all majors requiring internships, because we have adult learners who are coming from other experiences in their work life that aren't related, and they're having trouble sometimes making that career change because the employers want them to have experience. Then there's the co-curricular partnership, which we also do on our campus. This is where you may not fully integrate career development into your curriculum, but you have faculty who buy into career development and believe that these employability skills and career readiness skills are just as important as what the students are learning from a curricular standpoint, and want to merge them together. But it's kind of in a one-off way, right? It's by the interest of an individual faculty member. All right, here's your next question for the chat. Are any of these methods being used on your campus? And if so, just type in which method. Like if you're using curriculum integration, if you've seen project-based, if you've seen experiential learning, co-curricular partnerships, put it in the chat. Tell me which one. Okay, so Meg says project-based. Awesome. Love project-based because the faculty are so invested. Internships and project-based. Okay, Melinda says, oh, we need to talk. I love that. Experiential, love it. Oh, okay, good. Okay, good. So it looks like experiential learning is definitely something that you all are heavily invested in. I'm seeing some project-based work here, and then a few of you saying, oh, I love it. Capstone courses, yes. Capstone faculty are wonderful to work with. Excellent. And capstone tends to be a part, here's the part of general education. Wonderful. Thank you all for sharing. Well, now you have more ideas to add to your bucket when you go to work with your academic colleagues and your deans and your faculty members. All right, here's what we had here at the University of Baltimore. Our general education curriculum here is broken up into 4 areas: information literacy, oral communication, global awareness, and technological influency. In our office, we define career readiness by the NACE standards, which are the National Association for Careers and Employers, NACE, and we use their model. These are the competencies that they have surveyed employers and found that employers are looking for in college talent when they're hiring new college talent. And what we did is we simply mapped the general education curriculum to the NACE competencies. It's a very fun activity. It'd be great to get some faculty in a room and try something like this. Or if you're in the Career Center, it'd be great to sit down and bring the GE curriculum to your staff and talk to them about it, because I find, and we have found, when we understand the language of curriculum, it's the speak of faculty, you have better success, right, than coming in with different language. Because oftentimes on the co-curricular side, student affairs, student support, we talk about these things differently. That's why the student success language is so nice, because it's really becoming universal for both the academic and the career or the student support side. What it ended up looking for us is like this. This was Fiona, the assistant provost vision, and we are 50% there. So the first place we started was our freshman seminar, IDIS 101, with Discover Your Direction. If you remember, that's the first phase of our career cycle. In our freshman seminar now for the past 6-7 years, Every student has to develop a professional goal, which is a part of that career cycle. Every student gets a group interpretation in their report for the I Start Strong, which is a specialized version of the Strong Interest Inventory. And every student gets a group interpretation and a report of their dependable strengths using the Gallup Strengths Finder. This was important to us because we want our students to have clarity and confirmation that they're in the right major, because we serve students who are from limited resource backgrounds, first generation students. Changing their major multiple times is not conducive to their financial aid packages and the amount of time they want to spend in school. So them knowing their first year that I am in the right place is very important for us. We do a pre and post survey every single year, and every time we've done it, we see a greater and higher level of confirmation that students feel that they are in the right place. And we also see a greater confirmation that students understand the linkages between their major and their industry. Hello, a lot of students don't understand that just because I major in something doesn't mean that's the name of the job I'm going to get. For instance, at orientation, I always say to our criminal justice majors, your job will not be called criminal justice. Right? You need to think past the major to what it's going to translate into in the industry. And this work we do in the freshman seminar allows us to do that. Then we also worked on RIT 300. RIT 300 is our junior level writing course that all students must take. Why did we jump from freshman seminar to RIT 300? Because we have a lot of transfer students who don't take the freshman seminar. And we were still asking ourselves the question, how do we get to every student, right? Because the career centers opt in. So now in RIT 300, I had the wonderful experience about 6 years ago to sit in a room with faculty as they went through a redesign of the writing course, which was really nice for me to see what that academic experience was like. And I was fully accepted in there and able to shape what is now called our employment assignment, where students have to write a resume, a cover letter, find a job announcement that they would want to apply to, that the documents are tailored to. And most recently, the new faculty member who has come into that position has added mock interviewing to that. So our mock interview module that's embedded in our career management system, which is a simplicity system that we call UB Works, now all the students in that course also do a mock interview. Wow, amazing. I get so excited about things like this. Now, does it mean that we get some students who get an A, some who get a B, and some who get a C? Yes. My team is not involved in giving the grades and evaluating the final artifacts or products. We are involved in going in, doing workshops, and providing the resources of how do you write a resume, how do you write a cover letter. We also created resources just for this course, and then we also are the ones who manage the mock interview process, right? The first year we tried it, we were in Canvas to help with the assignments, but my team are not considered faculty. It was just the bandwidth was not there. So we no longer do that. So freshman seminar, RIT 300. What do we do next? We were able a couple years to get an Info 110. Information Literacy 110 is our core general education course around information literacy. All of our sophomore students take it. However, it is taught by our librarians. They are on a faculty contract, and they do not have to have the same learning outcomes. So what we were able to do with them is work with them individually on how they wanted to embed it. We had two really good cases. One was where we did an informational interviewing assignment where students had to go out and meet with someone and interview them about their industry or their major. And we came in and did the preparation, the explore the world of work phase of the career cycle is where that equates to. Then we had another where the librarian has the students pick an issue in Baltimore City and find an organization that is trying to solve that issue, find a need that they have, solve the need, and do a presentation. So we went in to do business communication skills to prepare them for their presentation, handshake, introductions, all of that. So that one is not where we want it, but we're on the way. And then the last one were the senior capstone courses. Now, the beauty here with Fiona, she did go to GE and say, can we create a shared learning outcome around career readiness for capstone courses? Unfortunately, the faculty did shoot it down. It was very controversial. So where we're at with that is the faculty in their capstone courses who do want to embed career readiness, we work with them, and it's more project-based, creating individual assignments with them, but we do in fact create them with them. We oftentimes are able to educate them on the career cycle and the NACE career readiness competencies and help them to design the lessons. And then most of the time we go in and do some sort of workshop or information to help the students prepare for the assignment. So that's where we sit. We're a good ways to where we want to be, but we're still working on it. I also want to mention the co-curricular partnerships because this has really become a staple for us as well. So I have a few pictures of events up here. The first one you see is our annual etiquette dinner. We don't just offer this to the campus. I am certified to teach dining etiquette, and I am able to do that for our students. And all we do is have to fund the actual wait staff and the meal. It is a pricey event, but for my students who may have never had a business meal, been to a networking event or done business or had an interview over a meal, it's a very important career readiness, employability, skill building moment. Our human services faculty really see this as being important. They tend to recruit who I call our diamonds in the rough. They tend to recruit students from Baltimore who have faced things like trauma, and they're drawn to our human services program because they want to solve those issues. However, they've not been exposed to certain business activities. So for the last six or so years, we've done that explicitly with our human services faculty. It actually is next Tuesday. We're having our next etiquette dinner, and we hold it on campus. Entrepreneurship night was with our business school. We do have an entrepreneurship office on campus that works with the small business administration. And the students wanted to really talk to other entrepreneurs in a more networking type of event. So we partnered together and we brought in alums who were entrepreneurs. So it's our office, Alumni Relations, and the Entrepreneurship Center. And as you can see, we just had a great night where students who really have a vision for entrepreneurship were able to talk to alums who've gone out there and started their own businesses successfully. And then the one on the other end is our Majors Information Fair. This one is just beautiful to me because right there in the orange shirt is Latoya Gomez, our current career manager for business, and sitting next to her are two of our business advisors. This is an event that all of our freshmen are required to come to about a week or two before they have to declare their major. It's called an information fair. All of our majors are there, all of our academic advisors are there, and our team is there. And the students, we do it like a passport event where they have to talk to certain resources on campus to get food. We kind of threaten them with food. In order to get your pizza, you have to talk to these folks. We started last year sitting my team with the advisors together. We used to do it separately. So they get us all in one moment. So they come up to the academic advisor right there and they say, I'm thinking about majoring in accounting or finance, but I'm not sure which one. The advisor says, well, here, are the requirements for finance, here, accounting, but talk to Latoya. You need to sit down in a coaching session to decide which one from a career standpoint. It's just beautiful. So those are some of our co-curricular partnerships that I wanted to share. Okay. Number 3, recommendation number 3, and we're making good time, the student success team. So I think I mentioned already that my supervisor, the vice president of Quad S, or the Student Success and Support Services, also oversees the advising model here, not the advisor. She is not the supervisor for the advisors. Our advisors are embedded into their colleges, so we don't have a central advising office like the Career Center is. However, in the Career Center, we have what we call a career community model. So what you see here are my team members. We have a career manager for business, a career manager for public affairs, and a career manager for arts and sciences. The law school has their own career center on our campus. That's your assigned career person. When you come to our office, that's who you see. This model has been great here because our students really prefer safety and security of someone they trust. And I'll tell you how funny it gets for me. We're hybrid. So I was the only one in the office closing up 2 weeks ago, the first week of campus classes. And a student comes at the last minute and I open the door for them and they're like, I'm looking for Latoya, my business, career coach. And I said, oh, you just missed her. She's left for the day, but how can I help you? He's like, no, I'll come back tomorrow. He's like, no, I want my person. And I always laugh because they don't want to talk to me. I'm like, I am the director of the Career Center. Like, I can help you, but they don't want to talk to me at all. They want to talk to their person. So this has been, I think the nice thing about this model is you get to work with this person in our office your entire tenure here as a student. And we really get to see you as you go through the internship, as you start to work on your resume, as you, have to make career decisions like changing a major if you do, and then to graduation. So that's been really nice. However, one of the great things I was able to partner with my boss with before she was my boss, because before she was my boss, she was one of the associate deans in our College of Arts and Sciences. I was in a meeting and I heard that they were going to take our PeopleSoft portal, which we call My U-Vault. This is where students go to register for classes, pay their bill, and all those good things. And she was creating a space called My Success Team with your academic advisor in it. So you see a screenshot of that here. So I reached out to her And I was like, hey, I heard you're creating this thing called My Success Team. I really want my team and the advisors to work together. Can we put my team in there too? And she's like, that is a great idea. So we worked with OTS, our Office of Technology Services. And now when students log into My U-Vault, there literally is on their homepage a section where they can see their academic advisor and their career coach, how to reach them on campus, which I find so beautiful. The next step is that there will be a person from financial aid identified to add to their student success team. But the story does not end there. Talk about using technology to scale your services. What you see here is Salesforce. Does this mean what this does mean is our career team and our academic advisors, we are also really becoming technologically savvy higher education administrators. We're learning how to use technology better and better to work together to case manage students. Matter of fact, I have a book right now about case management in career services that I'm reading for my team. What you see here is a student advising case record in what we call the Student Success Hub. This is where students for the last few years have gone to schedule meetings with academic advisors. And guess what? The Career Center team is now in the Student Success Hub. Last fall, my team was able to get accounts in here and be trained by a consultant the technology office brought in. And now we can send referral cases to advisors and they can send referral cases to us. So I know the screen is busy, but if you look over, it's my right, probably your left, and you see the green boxes. Those, you see my team names, Latoya, Gomez, Orlando Farley. That is an example of them recording that they have sent a task to either someone else on our team or to an academic advisor. So what does this look like? If in my office, Lana, who works in employer relations, is meeting with a student that she's seen about something, and she realizes they need to talk to Latoya because they're a business major, she does that in here. So we can now track, instead of using email, hello, how we are case managing students, that we handed off a student and that Latoya now has it, and then Latoya can close that case. You also see one called referral. This means Lana handed something off outside of our office and referred the student to an academic advisor. Maybe a student came in and said, I want to talk to you. I'm thinking about taking on a minor. Great. Let's talk about that from a career perspective. But when it comes to your credits and staying on for graduation, that is not us. You need to talk to your advisor. Now we can do that in the Student Success Hub. Prior to this, this was all done by email, taking maybe 10 or 15 emails to resolve a student case. Now we can do it in here. And as the director, I can also come in here and run a report and look at my staff's engagement and case management of students. This is so exciting. Next step, now we're in phase 2. We're actually going to transition the scheduling of career services coaching appointments to Salesforce. Why? Because it doesn't make sense for students to have to go here to schedule with their academic advisors and then to a separate system to have to schedule with the Career Center. We will still have our own career services management system because we need a portal for job postings, but students will schedule their coaching session here. And when they come into their Student Success Hub, they will see again here their academic advisor and their career person. So this has become a nice, really a student success initiative for our whole campus. And I'm looking forward to see how this goes in the future. Question: do your career advisors and academic advisors use the same appointment scheduling technology? Yes or no in the chat for me, please. Are your career advisors and your academic advisors? Oh, yes, Starfish. Love that. I haven't heard of that one. That's awesome. Okay, some no, some yes. Karen, sort of. I'd love to know more about what that means. Okay, I see someone using Banner. Yes, Navigate. Some saying no. Excellent. So I am really encouraged right now to see some of you, about half of you saying yes, and then some of us saying no. So I encourage the no's to investigate this. There are different systems out there to do it. You do want to make it easy. The nice thing for us is that our Student Success Hub and our UB Work system are all embedded into PeopleSoft. So we're not sending students multiple places to get to these things. They can get to them through one place. We have that, API single sign-on option there. But this is going to be a game changer for us. Okay. The last part of the student success team is milestone advising. My supervisor a number of years ago, as I said, she's over that academic advising model, created a 45, 60, 90 credit check-in for students. So when you get to 45 credits, 60 credits, 90 credits here, you have to check in with your advisor or you get a hold on your account. You can't register, right? Ooh, not good. We did it for the success of our students because we were waiting until they hit 90 or more credits to realize they missed the class or something of that sort. And that's not fun for anybody, right? So what we did, we mapped the career cycle to the 45, 60, 90 credit model, right? So right here, you'll see how we embedded that discover your direction and explore the world of work at the 45 credit level, communicate your brand at the 60 credit level, and create your opportunities at the 90 credit level. The advisors have this in a nice sheet of what career strategies are important, where either they can send the student directly to that career strategy if it's one of our online tools, or they can refer them to their career advisor right through the right through Salesforce now. But in those conversations, when those advisors are at that 45, 60, or 90 credit, it's not just an advising credits conversation, it's also a career development conversation. And we really call this all hands on deck, right? And Career Leadership Collective calls it an ecosystem, right? It's everybody being invested in having career conversations with students. And then last but not least, we also were interested in our office at looking at the communications we have going out to students. And we have what we now call the career engagement student life cycle. You can also call this intrusive career advising. It's a direct mimic of what you call intrusive academic advising, meaning from prospect to graduation, we have places, touch points where we are sending communications to students. We are using Simplicity to do this, our career management system. So it makes it easy for us because it's a database. But literally, we've worked with our admissions team that there's a career-related letter that goes out to prospects. There's a career-related letter that goes out at the admit point when you decide you want to come here. Then you see us at new student orientation and you get to meet your assigned career advisors. After ad drop, you get a UB Works campaign message to new students from your career advisor. Then, of course, you see us in IDIS 101. Then we have something called career community newsletters. Those career managers send a specific newsletter tailored to their industry. We have what we call career services assistants who do that for us. And then from there, you have your intrusive advising check I talked about. You see us in RIT 300. You might see us in the capstone course. And then we do alumni outreach as well. When you're about to graduate, there's a graduation fair on our campus. We are there. And then first destination survey, which we do at graduation. And then up to 30 days after students graduate to find out where they have landed with their employment. And that report is then disseminated across campus. And many of our academic units use it for their accreditation purposes of their individual academic programs. So I'm very proud of this. It's content heavy, tracking it, but you can embed this into your process and you can automate a lot of this. Okay, I am so happy. We're 12:43. Building capacity with artificial intelligence, recommendation number 4. I was very concerned that we wouldn't get to this. So I hear that you all are interested in artificial intelligence and you wanted to know, is there a way we can use AI to really connect academics and career? And the answer is yes. I actually have an entire presentation I did for a company called Eduology around this last year. So I want to start off, well, let me go back. I want to start off by introducing to you what I'm seeing in the industry, something I'm doing here, something I'm doing at another campus, and something I've seen globally. And then I will open it up for questions. Okay, so the first is one of the most time-consuming things that takes place in your career center are resume reviews, right? If you've ever seen resumes, if you are an executive on here or a dean or a leader and you're not the one that's front line, ask your team to show you a resume from one of your students. There are some great ones, and then there's some not some great ones out there. But this is an example of a company called Teal that uses AI to review resumes. As you can see here, you get a score for your resume, and you get some feedback there about your resume of how you can improve it, and you can even get it to match to certain jobs. There are a lot of vendors out there who offer things like this to career centers. Right now, we use a system in Simplicity that's free called an inline resume review. So every student, once they activate their account in our system, when they upload their document, it goes into a holding bin, but it's not automatically reviewed. My team reviews it, and then you get an approval for it to be released and you can apply to jobs in there. If we were to continue to increase enrollment, we would begin to look for an AI solution because it is a very time-consuming process. Right now, our career services assistants are trained in providing that feedback. But again, in the summers, winter break, and things like that, it still has to happen and it falls to the team. I also am an adjunct faculty member on one of the classes that I teach at UMGC. So I left there from the Career Center years ago, 12 years ago, but I still teach there. I teach their career planning course. It's a 4-week course. It's all online. And one of the assignments is to create a professional pitch. It's sort of a mini interview for the students. And we use something called BMOC. I do not have to listen to 30 professional pitches. BMOC does it for me. As you can see right here, I went and grabbed this snapshot. A student completed the assignment. BMOC comes back with a score from a level of 0 to 5. According to the rubric we use, 2 is an acceptable grade. So as long as the student comes with 2, they will pass the assignment. They do need to continue to take it until they get to a 2 or they don't get the credit for it. But you can also see they get feedback on their verbal, nonverbal delivery, delivery of speech, or their verbal delivery, and then their content. So how they say it, what they say, and then their nonverbals as they're saying it. And this is just a screenshot. The feedback is longer than this. So as you can see under nonverbal, they're addressing their eye contact. As you can see under content strength, it talks about word usage, all AI. And then I'm able to come in if it's a lower score and say, hey, these are some things you might want to try to improve this. Or if it's a great score, good. I might still look at some of the content like this student. I obviously was said, continue to work on your content strength. Go back, look at your resume for how to talk about your accomplishments. But it looks like you're really doing good with nonverbal and delivery of speech. This is a great example of taking something that's highly time consuming, but a very important career readiness skill and making it scalable for staff or faculty to do. Again, in my instance, it's faculty, but for my team, we are probably about to be going through an RFP process for our career management system. If we do that, we probably will be going to something like VMOC or a big interview, which is using AI for our mock interview process. And that's because now that we have it embedded in RIT 300, where it's time for us to make it even more sustainable, right? And then there are systems that do help with job searching. And one of the ways we all know, we might not consider it AI, but it is AI, is when you are job searching now, many systems, when they see your resume, automatically begin to recommend jobs to you. So I went into our system a few nights ago, pulled up one of my students. She is IO psychology, and went into her account. And these are the jobs that our Simplicity system said that she might want to look at. One is because people in her major are interested in. The other one is based on other types of jobs that she has interned. Again, many students really struggle with how to job search. And if you work in career services, you know employers are posting jobs and sometimes their feedback is nobody applied to them. This is a great example of AI, instead of a person having to go in and constantly promote your jobs to students, of AI doing that. In our system, these also gets emailed to the student. They can see it in the system when they log in, but it also gets emailed out. A great strategy for helping students with their job searching. So on our campus, when AI, I guess 2 years ago, when AI just kind of blew up for everyone, we did have a committee come together and created guidance on how AI could be used around campus. Some of the things that were of a concern was really the integrity piece of it. We decided on this campus that faculty could use AI. They had to let students know if they want them to use AI. If faculty use AI in their training, they must reference that they use AI. And then they also have to provide guidance on how they want students to use it. My team adopted the same thing. We decided in our office that our staff members are permitted to use AI, and I'm going to give you an example when working with students, but they should follow the UBALT guidelines, meaning you should tell a student if you're using AI, you should cite it if you use AI to create a presentation or send students information. We also decided that CIC staff members could utilize ChatGPT during coaching sessions with students, but should follow the UBALT guidelines, should let the student know that they're using it. However, we decided, on the other hand, that staff members could not recommend AI to students outside of coaching. And that is because we do not want our students to miss opportunities for learning how to think critically and using AI when they're already struggling with creating professional documents outside of it as a supplement versus allowing it to think for you. where did we land with this? We decided, here's a career cycle again. So I took our career cycle and I did a training for my staff on how we could use AI and prompt engineering on each phase of the career cycle. So I'm just going to give you this one example for Discover Your Direction. We determined that artificial intelligence could help us assess career options by generating a list based on a person's personalities or skills and interests, right? A student comes to us and tell us what they're interested in. You can pop those right in the chat GPT and it will give you some careers that they should think about. You could assess career options by generating a list based on majors. So you had that student thinking about accounting and finance. They're not really sure. You could ask chat GPT to say, hey, this person has this kind of personality. They're interested in these skills. Provide a comparison list of accounting and finance as a career option for them. Chat GPT will do that. You can use Chat GPT to examine assessment results further to explore options. You can say to Chat GPT, a student is an ISTJ and is a business major. What are some possible career options for this student? So just building upon the strong interest inventory or the Myers-Briggs or dependable strengths. You can also say, hey, this student is having trouble with their resume. Let's take the professional goal, objective, or summary and ask ChatGPT to analyze it for their industry or for typos and edits. ChatGPT will enhance it. It is our preference that students write it first and then get it enhanced instead of just using it to write. And then generating a professional goal statement. Our students really struggle with this. So you can say to ChatGPT, on my last job, I was able to engage 500 students in our career fair. Can you help me write that into a professional goal statement for my resume? ChatGPT will do that. And then we created prompts. So ChatGPT and AI is all about prompt engineering. The better your question, the better your response, right? So then we came up with exact prompts that for the staff to use, like a student interested in blank might like a career in blank, or a students with a Gallup strengths talent theme of woo might like what type of careers, or improve this professional goal statement is exactly what you would want to say to it. And you put in a statement. Now you can even put in attachments and it will enhance that too. And then you get it back. Okay. So that's just an example of how we're using it to help students. How does this help with capacity? When you have a student in your office, it saves time, right? Instead of you having to say, well, let me look that up and get back to you. I'll send you an email later. You can open up Chat GPT, do it right there. Or better yet, what I really challenge my staff to do is use training methodology, neurodiverse training methodologies, like having the students do it themselves if they're comfortable and know how to access Chat GPT so that they have it right there for themselves and they know how to do it in those instances. The last thing I'd like to share with you is when I was in Taiwan, I had the wonderful opportunity to visit some workforce development agencies, some college career centers, and many career professionals, as well as speak to them about career development. And this is a workforce development center in Taiwan. And if you want to talk about technology and AI, picture number 3, where you see this sort of animated person, is actually what you see when you come into their center. So they don't have a front desk. They don't have to have anyone working at their front desk. You come in and it's touch screen. So the screen next to that, depending on what you need that day, you push the button and it tells you where you need to go. The last picture is a career exploration station. So instead of having pamphlets all over the places, you touch the button, you press on an industry, and it walks you through. You can do gamification. You can find information on that industry. Picture number 2 is a place where you can go over like a station and actually sit down and go do a deep dive. And this is the whole first floor. And then if you go upstairs is where they have offices and more like collaborative spaces where you can meet with someone. But the way we're using AI is one thing, but this was on a whole different level. So I just wanted to put that in there and show you all. So it is 12:54. I think I tried to cover everything I was asked to cover. I'm going to go ahead and stop my share. And I'm going to, at this time, again, thank you all for allowing me to come and share some of the amazing things that are happening on my campus and around the country and world in merging career and academics. I'm going to kick it back over to Jen and the team. If we want to take questions, I'd be free to stay on for a few minutes and do so.
Thank you so much, Lakeisha. What questions do we have? We have about 6 minutes left, so enough time for a few. Jerome?
Thank you. Lakeisha, thank you so very much for the great information. My question goes back to Teal when you were talking about AI and Teal and the use of resume writing. One of the things that came up with Teal is that it had, I guess, a score about keywords that students use.
Mhm.
And I'm curious, are students able to upload the job posting, job description where it matches keywords that are in the job posting, or is it just using general keywords that,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, and the systems that I have used with the resumes, they're just looking at maybe saying what the position is and what's in the actual resume
okay,
in those instances. Yep, it's a good question.
thank you.
Yep, I did see a question. Someone did ask about, I think, protecting student information. So on our campus, any of the systems that we use have to be vetted by our Office of Technology Services to vet. So typically most companies these days have a security packet that they'll give you. You send that to your technology office, they'll vet it, especially if you're going to be using any kind of API or authentication. But that is very, very important that you get that assessed by your Office of Technology first. Great question. Any other questions? I do see a question. I know I will be sending over the slide deck for folks. And I believe for the team and admin team that this has been recorded. My thought is that they will be sending out the recording. So that was a question. All right. Those are all the questions I see in the chat. Well, if nobody else has an additional question, I will. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Jacob.
Yeah, I think I see two.
Thank you so much for the really informative presentation, Lakeisha. I had a quick question. I was wondering, how do you train your your student employee supervisors and internship supervisors to kind of facilitate some of the career development and career design conversations in some of those experiential learning opportunities? And how has that conversation went for you?
Oh my goodness, Jacob, you have asked the key question there. So first, folks, if you want to stay in contact with me, I'm on LinkedIn. That QR code will take you right to my LinkedIn account. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. So Jacob, I actually, to scale training on my campus, I actually became a certified facilitator of the Facilitating Career Development Curriculum through NCDA. So if you work with me, you get trained in the facilitating curriculum, FCD curriculum, because in my hiring here, I have not been able to hire a lot of people who are coming from career centers. They're typically coming from other areas. So I do have a private practice and I do offer the FCD curriculum to people outside of my organization, but you bulk pay for that. That is how we scale that, because in order to send people for training, it could be anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500. But to send me as a trainer one time, and now I can train everyone, right? That comes in, great sustainability, capacity building. Number two, we use a GROW coaching model in my office. GROW is a specific model of coaching, GROW, goal, reality, options, wrap up, actions. That is used for any coaching session that we have, internships, resume, whatever it is, that is what we use. I have developed a training on that. We do observations when you first start with us to make sure that you know how to use GROW. And then we have an after appointment survey that monitors the quality of the use of that coaching methodology. I am a certified professional career coach, and we only hire you if you're willing to adapt and take on that methodology. That methodology has been so successful that when I did my doctoral work and I did a study of proactive career engagement, and my question was, are students who are more proactive more satisfied with career services? And the answer was no. Even students who come to our office who are not really engaged in their career development found our services helpful. And I really believe that's because of the GROW model and creating that quality assurance. Because if you don't have that, then everybody on your team is providing a different experience for every student that comes in. And you'll hear half of the people leave your office and say, they were great. And then the other people say, they didn't help me. We wanted to eliminate that completely. The last thing I'll mention is we do monthly coaching development meetings, which gives us a chance to talk about hard cases. So we do serve adults. If you work with adults, they have barriers to employment, period. So it's not just one and done, find an internship, find a job. Absolutely not for our students. So we do coaching development meetings. We pick topics all year long, once a month, that we want to learn more about. For instance, a month ago, we had someone come in and talk about work visas, because everybody wanted to recap on for our international students and where they could do their internships or post work and all of those types of things. And we, at those events, we'll also do a resume review together, right? Just trying to make sure that quality is there for everyone. Just now, we just did state government because federal government is not an option for people right now. So I wanted to make sure everyone on the team was prepared to apply to state government work and things like that. So you do have to create a training model. If you want to know more about it, Jacob, just communicate with me on LinkedIn and we can set up a time to chat. All right. I'm going to go ahead and take the QR code down. I hope folks are able to connect with me on LinkedIn. I love to stay in touch. Any other questions? Okay, Mr. O'Brien.
It looks like we're right at time. But thank you so much, Lakeisha. A wealth of information and knowledge. If anyone wants to connect with Lakeisha, hopefully got a chance to capture the QR code and connect with her on LinkedIn. We will send the recording and the presentation out shortly afterward, as well as an evaluation, which we hope that you take a chance to finish. But thank you, Lakeisha. Thank you all for attending, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.